Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here, New Dimensions, Crystals, and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. And today's report is for March the 12th through March the 18th, 2025. And of course, we jump right into the sun. The sun, of course, is in solar maximum. So the last couple of weeks, when we've had low sunspot totals, it's been a little bit calm, but the sun is starting to wake back up with Earth facing sunspots. I won't say tons of, but lots of M-class solar flares. None of those have been producing a CME, so there shouldn't be any increased uh, auroral activity in the northern hemisphere. So pay attention for that to proceed, right? So that the uptick will continue, and some of those may indeed release CMEs. When we are having increased flaring, sometimes it seems like a triggering and anxiety. A little bit of a heart flutter sometimes goes on when that energy pops in the sun, right? So you want to think of it as an energy surge, right? So sometimes when lights sort of brighten for a little bit when there's an energy surge in your house, similar principle, right? But planetary wide. That could contribute if you are not adjusting well to time change here in North America and or the rapidity. Oh, that's a big word. The rapidity of the cultural changes that are going on. Then that could add to that in probably undergird or feed a sense of anxiety. So pay attention to that. There is another smaller coronal hole, almost Earth facing, so we should be in magnetic lock with that. Probably expecting the coronal hole stream, which is a plasma stream that comes out of the center of the sun, to impact us sometime towards the weekend. And yeah, just sort of an interesting thing that's sort of precluding, no, not precluding, because precluding is preventing, uh, preceding the weekends or the week's intensity. So that's cool. Also, just sort of in those same sort of observations, we know these things because of satellites, and sometimes our satellites see far out into the universe, and just the nature of consciousness and how human resources create our reality. We have noticed with those, I don't have a telescope that big. But anyway, the scientists who are looking deep into the universe see galaxies so far away that they should be closer to the Big Bang. But they're noticing that those galaxies are too mature, right? Uh, so that it's messing with the timeline of creation. So just an idea that the farther we look away from ourselves, the more we see, because we have difficulty embodying all of those bigness things that are happening within us. So we send that energy as far out as we can. But sometimes that might um, call into question how old or how long we've actually been here doing all this stuff and how many times for that matter. Uh, just an interesting thought pattern to sort of have in with what's going on with the sun and how far we can see back in time, as it were. We are currently in the zodiac sign in the sun in Pisces, right? So that is affecting our feet. So if you had sore feet or tingly feet or adjustments in your feet, uh, pay attention to that energy for the next week. And that's the alchemical, right, correspondence to the zodiac sign that we're in, sort of affects the physical body. And you want to think about that as we're at the end of winter, ready to spring into a new thing, right? So we're putting all that energy into the upward thrust or into the lower parts of our body as we reach back for the stars. Speaking about looking deep into the creation or the existence of the universe or the multiverse or the multi-dimensional universe, yada, yada, yada. Those of us who sort of pay attention to the subtle energies in our body are probably having already having experiences of our Aries opening up, right? So that's going to be top of the crown, where Aries is. Aries, the Ram, uh, Aries, God of War, but also the higher mind, right? You want to think of the golden fleece and all the things like that. And then when you think of the MRI scan, you want to think of the third ventricle, right? When you sort of see that sort of picture, it does look like there is an inner set of quote unquote horns that is in the body. So that might, you might not feel it exactly at the top of the head. You might sort of feel it like in tunnels right above the eye. if you're looking for physical representations of what's going on, so pay attention to that energy sort of moving in and sort of shifting, right? You're going to sort of feel that energy move up the body and start to locate in the head region. We are currently in Venus retrograde, and Venus is obviously the planet of love. And so the idea of interpersonal love, right, with somebody else might be readjusting or being reevaluated. But as many of us know, some of us might not, most of our love interactions are based on what we think of ourselves, and that attracts to us people that are either the opposite of that or agree that that's exactly what we are. So if we are redeveloping, then obviously assigning a higher worth or understanding to ourselves causes that connection to need reevaluation or work. So that might be occurring for you now as that's happening. We will be in retrograde in another planet by the end of the week. I'll mention that during the report. Yeah, so a lot of energy coming. Just moves us into Wednesday, where we have the Sun and Saturn, the ringed planet, which are combining with this pre-eclipse energy, which is happening on the 13th, 14th. Also, the Venus retrograde and the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. And the energy intensity of the day is really about accepting who we are, and then calls for a decision of reality or illusion. Like, what do you choose to be your main focus? And you could sort of separate that into source or ego, right? The ego creates instances which may or may not be true for the now, but definitely questionable in the true for the always. What if we're an eternal now, but what about the eternal always? And they're different. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's a contemplation to sort of mess with today, but it's really going to be around self worth, and connections that's going on today, Wednesday. Not a lot of fun stuff for the middle of the week. You're like, oh man, I'm halfway through the week and blah blah blah. Why is it getting more intense? It's going to get even more intense. Speaking of Thursday, the 13th, the lunar eclipse will be beginning at least here in Central Standard Time, close to midnight, and then occurring overnight. So the 13th and the 14th will be lunar eclipse stuff. And if you're on the other side of the planet, of course, it's already tomorrow or fixing to be tomorrow. So Texan. In that full moon lunar eclipse is going to be in the blood moon. And that blood moon is going to be in Virgo. So you want to think about this as the ending of a cycle, the cleansing, the releasing, and the idea of rebirth, right? Who are you in this new now? You want to watch out. You want to pay attention to high emotions, and perhaps confusion as you sort of anticipate who you are on the other side of this. And that confusion is really more about choice, right? The universe will highlight where you could go, but the decision is always yours, right? And so that's what I'm talking about, the confusion of which way should I go? Who am I really? Who have I always thought I was? And then the interaction with the ego about being right or being valid. Yeah, so pay attention to that. That'll be fun times. Friday the 14th is pi day, right? So the mathematical equation that allegedly describes and is an infinite number, the vibration or shape of the universe. Yeah, so it's a fun day. It's a not necessarily mathematically correlated. Oh my goodness, but it is something to sort of pay attention to, because group consciousness starts to shape our reality, a la the universe that's the galaxy that's too developed so far back in time. And then also Mercury will begin going into retrograde on Friday, right? Communication, travel, all those kinds of things. So pay attention to the clarity of your thoughts. Take extra time to discern. Obviously, double check travel plans if you got to travel. Watch out for contracts, yada, yada, yada. All the Mercury retrograde stuff. Leads us into Saturday the 15th, August, not August. What? Um, March the 15th, will be entering, or the eclipse portal doorway will be wide open. And that's the 2 week energy in between the lunar eclipse, which is this week, and the solar eclipse, which is in 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from then, 2.5 weeks, whatever. Um, you want to think of this energy on Saturday is Control Alt Delete. You're rebooting, right? Um, Maybe there's some errors that need to go away just when you turn the car back on. Um, Sometimes Bluetooth sort of hookups sort of work that way when you're getting in the car. And you're like, why isn't my Bluetooth going? Or it's, the screen's not right, or it's not communicating correctly. So you're going to Control Alt Delete. And so Saturday's that kind of energy. So it might be a good day to sort of take downtime. I know the weather is getting good and you might be thinking, hey, let's go out and do stuff. Maybe just spend some time by yourself and go, who the heck am I? And you want to really allow the you want to allow the soul to reset the blueprint, right? You've sort of built up what you think the blueprint is. When we sort of have these instances in the cosmos, the soul sort of says, hey, wait a second. What if you aren't as limited as you think you are, and your divine eternal soul worthy of love and affection? And you can embody that in this now, more or less bringing the always true into the eternal now, which is sometimes not true. What? It's a lot of confusing stuff Jason's talking about today, but it's just sort of, I'm trying to trigger your mind into sort of understanding that there is choice that's going on in the cosmos, and that you're sort of reading the clues in the movie to determine the ending. And the ending is that your divine eternal soul really love and affection, and you're never going to die. So act accordingly. Leads us into Sunday. Oh, Sunday, the 16th of March. I almost said September. I'm not even in the right time, guys. Why are y'all listening? The moon's going to be squaring Mars, right? We just got out of Mars retrograde, remember? And Mars is really active in moving us forward. And so the energy, especially right after the eclipse, is going to be about excitement and haste. This is kind of like, I need to start right damn now. So pay attention to that haste. Because sometimes haste makes waste. Oh my goodness, where did I pull that one from? That's like some 1980s stuff. And so, yeah, watch out for doing things too hastily. Also, the energy is going to cause, um, conflict with the opposite sex. And then you want to watch out for uh, sometimes when we can't deal with those things on our own, we like to do some retail therapy. And so the energy of Sunday is to spend money unwisely. So sort of pay attention to how the money is flowing on Sunday. Leads into Monday when the moon is, what is it doing? It's going to be in Scorpio. Um, and we're really going to sort of see that if we can't get some retail therapy, maybe we're going to get some loving therapy. And so the idea of increased passion and temptation to um, experiment with newness or differentness. So this would be a watch out for those in your sphere that seem available but shouldn't be. I think that's what I'll say about that. That's what I'll say about that. Let's see what else did I have there. Blah 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 blah. I think that's it. I think I just sort of said a whole bunch of other things that might be caused around that temptation. Right. And so, like, temptation is not bad in itself. Just sort of know that the energy is flowing to sort of make you use that as one of the crutches of acting rather than becoming something different. Right. So, a lot of times that temptation will cause us to do stuff which causes us to doubt that we're worthy. And then we sort of, it gives us an excuse to either divert the energy from changing or divert the energy and add it to, like, I'm not worthy of that change, so I'll stay the same. Yeah, that sounds like a fun Monday. I think I'll stay home and sleep on that Monday. Leads us into the 18th of March. Excuse me. 18th of March, which is Tuesday. The moon is going to trine Mars. And Really, it's sort of just like Monday. Monday's just like, hey, stay away from all the temptations because Tuesday is the return with that alignment of sort of willpower and the notion that you can actually the word the energy is fall in love with, but really sort of acknowledge that that is a good path and it feels good to go down it. So it's sort of fall in love with the truth again, right? And so all of the diversion of this can't be so, I don't want to change, and I'm just a human. Monday kind of goes like, wait a second, I'm a divine eternal soul, worthy of love and affection, and I have the willpower to become that or to exert that or allow that. Yeah, it sounds like a good Tuesday. That's the week, of course. I'm here at the shop till 5 o'clock, I think, for the rest of the week. So Wednesday through Saturday. Mondays and Tuesdays, it does say close, but that is for appointments. So if you are in need of an alignment, especially after all of this cosmic alignment, you can book online at newdimensionscrystals.com. Probably a cleanse, maybe a connect. If you need to sort of integrate all of this realignment that's going on. And of course, I'm here at 221 East Main Street in downtown Brenham. If you want to come by a shop, buy some rocks, get some candles for the ceremony. I think I got all the candles. I haven't checked if I'm out of some color. Somebody bought a handful of them on Saturday. And so I'm like, am I out of that color? Because that was a lot of those. Anywho, I think that's it. It's always fun doing this. Like, subscribe, share. I appreciate all of you that show up and engage with this guidance or allow this guidance to trigger your divine eternal soul worthy of love and affection and act accordingly. I think I'm looking for the stop recording button. Last time I think it cut off any early, so I'm going to say many blessings and look for the button after that. Many blessings, everybody.